Tonight on CTV, DEIA policies and how ASCSU is addressing them.
And how CSU is making an impact with Special Olympics basketball team.
And a look into the World Unity Fair.
All this and more tonight on CTV.
Good evening, Rams. My name is Brandon Lennon.
And I'm Madison Szpunar.
Last night, ASCSU held a community event to hear the concerns of those over the recent federal changes affecting diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility facilities on campus. With the turnout so large, the event had to be held in the Never Know Summer Room in the Laurie Student Center, and with the vote to extend the time that was allotted for students to speak from 30 minutes to an hour, several people spoke up about their thoughts on DEIA and CSU's actions in the face of federal actions.
For many, these institutions are not simply resources or retention. Their existence is a matter of life or death, of survival for our most vulnerable communities.
With much still being unknown, some students in attendance of the meeting say that the fight for DEIA has just begun.
This week, 2 of the 3 protesters who glued their hands to a brick wall inside of Fort Collins City Hall last year have reached a plea deal. Cheryl DiStazo and Hania Sakal pleaded guilty to trespassing or interference with a public building and were each fined $75, along with restitution for repairs done to the wall. The protest occurred during a city council meeting in March 2024 when the women used Gorilla Glue to stick themselves to the council chamber wall in protest of the council's refusal to support a ceasefire in Gaza. The protest caused disruption, halting the meeting and leading to a call for first responders to free the women. In court, DiStazo and Sakal expressed their frustration. Both women defended their actions as a call for city council to listen to their demands for a resolution in Gaza.
Police say just before midnight on Monday, Loveland authorities apprehended the alleged Tesla vandal after they returned to the dealership. Lucy Grace Nelson was placed under arrest when they came back to the dealership with incendiary devices in their possession. This arrest comes after an investigation that started on January 29th after reports of graffiti on the Tesla dealership with phrases such as Nazi cars being sprayed on Cybertrucks and the windows of the dealership. The Larimer County Magistrate has issued a $100,000 bond for Nelson, and federal charges are expected. The police have been unable to interview Nelson due to her invoking her right to remain silent and the right to an attorney. We now are going to toss it over to Karma Robbins with a report on how Denver schools are suing Trump.
The Trump administration has implemented a new policy allowing immigration authorities to conduct enforcement actions in schools. The Denver public school system has now filed a lawsuit against the administration, arguing that this new policy creates fear, disrupts learning, and threatens the safety of immigrant students. The Trump administration stated a judge should reject Denver public schools' attempt to block immigration enforcement actions at schools because the district can't show that it's happened anywhere or that the prospect of enforcement has caused sufficient harm. DPS stated they remain committed to ensuring schools are safe, inclusive, and free from enforcement actions that could harm children and separate families.
Yeah, approximately 2 weeks ago, we had some ICE raids that occurred at an apartment complex here in Denver that had some direct impact to students in several different schools. It was very, very traumatic for those families.
The Denver public school system has seen a dramatic decrease in attendance, around 10 to 15 percentage points.
When all this started, we started to see this decline, and then after the raids, we definitely saw a dramatic decline where families are just making the choice to keep their kids home, which obviously directly impacts their learning.
Parents and families have been nothing but encouraging for the Denver public school system's decision.
We've heard nothing but overwhelming support, even from people who in the past who have not been fans of the work that we're doing.
Multiple measures are being implemented to support students and families.
We've doubled down, let's say it that way. We've doubled down with the way that our entry procedure works. So monitoring that door, that you had the right to be there. And we're doing that with our ICE agents too. So, if someone shows up at our door and they say that they're an ICE agent, we're still going to vet them. We're going to make sure that they have the right documentation. We're not going to let them in the door until we're sure that they have a legal right to come inside of our building.
DPS is the first school to sue the Trump administration based on the new policy. In response, the Trump administration stated that DPS does not have the legal authority to prevent federal immigration enforcement agents from making arrests at educational institutions. The Department of Homeland Security said that either the policy change caused irreparable harm or the district had not produced adequate proof of actual enforcement actions taking place on school property. DPS is committed to protecting children and families with the new immigration policies happening. Back to you guys. But real quick, we will head to a quick break.
I want to get like a wig off of Shein, bro.
Do you have zero friends because you are uninteresting? Are all of your friends cooler than you because of the fun facts they know? Have you or a loved one suffered from someone telling you how underground their interests are?
Fear not.
Hi, I'm Tyler.
And I'm Warner.
Here on Underground, we can help you.
I want to get like a wig off of Shein, bro.
Do you have zero friends because you are uninteresting? Are all of your friends cooler than you because of the fun facts they know? Have you or a loved one suffered from someone telling you how underground their interests are?
Fear not.
Hi, I'm Tyler.
And I'm Warner.
Here on Underground, we can help you be cool again.
Watch our show this Wednesday at 7:30 p.m.
And we promise you'll see results.
A Colorado Springs man will face 28 years after pleading guilty to multiple drug offenses and second-degree murder. Police say Jose Bieza is charged with one count of second-degree murder for an incident that happened back in March of 2022, where Bieza shot someone over a drug debt. Bieza will also be charged with one count of distributing and possessing with intent to distribute more than 40 grams of fentanyl. In addition to these charges, he will be charged with possession of a firearm as a registered felon.
A woman in Las Vegas is facing multiple charges after allegedly luring at least 4 older men through online dating apps, drugging them with sedatives, and stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars from them. Aurora Phelps is currently in custody in Mexico and faces 21 counts, including wire fraud, identity theft, and kidnapping, resulting in 3 deaths. According to FBI officials, Phelps targeted men in 2021 and 2022 using popular dating apps like Tinder, Hinge, and Bumble. Police say after taking the men on dates, she would sedate them with prescription drugs before stealing their cars, credit cards, and bank accounts. Phelps is facing a maximum of life in prison if convicted on all charges, and the FBI is working with Mexican authorities to secure her extradition.
The search for Malaysian Airlines Flight 370 will be resuming for the first time in nearly 11 years. Since its disappearance in March of 2014, Flight 370 has not been located, and the only aircraft parts that have been recovered are on the ocean's surface or been washed ashore. But now, Malaysian government has given authority to the company Ocean Infinity to resume searching for the aircraft on the agreement of a no-find, no-fee basis. The Malaysian Transportation Minister Anthony Loke said in an interview on Tuesday, "They are confident this area will yield a positive result, and they are ready to take the risk and resume the search. That is why the Malaysian government is proceeding with it."
On Tuesday, Taiwan's Coast Guard detained cargo ship's crew after an undersea cable was damaged. In the early hours of the day, Taiwanese officials were contacted when a communication cable in the Taiwan Strait was damaged, causing the mainland to lose connection with the Penghu Islands. The Coast Guard said that they had detected the cargo ship stopping close to the site of the cable around 2:30 in the morning. The ship had dropped anchor and moved northwest before the connection was lost and reported. The cargo was stopped and then boarded. The cargo was stopped, and when boarded, authorities found that all 8 crew on board were Chinese nationals. The ship identification number was checked, but ownership is unclear due to multiple different ship names registered under the ID number. The Coast Guard said the ship was, quote, China-funded, but did not elaborate, and evidence has yet to be published to prove or debunk this statement.
Syrian Justice and Accountability Center said it has calculated more than 1,000 Syrians have died under the Assad administration detention facility. The Accountability Center said it was able to find these grave sites through eyewitness testimony, government documents, and satellite imagery. Prisoners were killed by torture, maltreatment, and execution, and had the dead buried in mass graves outside the airport detention walls. The SJAC say that all survivors from the detention center had experienced some form of abuse or torture, telling stories of sounds of execution from their cells. The estimates come primarily from 2 intelligent data sets that were reported. A total of almost 1,200 detainees died between 2011 and 2017. We're going to take a quick break, but when we get back, we will get to the weather rundown from Lena Juhlin and our investigative report from Bailey Prokowski.
After 2 years?
You gotta be kidding me! Okay, no.
Robbie!
Seriously, do you have anything you can use against the dragon?
I can do fireball, that'll do a lot of damage.
Yeah, to all of us!
Well,
We're in a 4-foot room!
I'm sorry, what else do you want me to do?
My God. Okay.
Hold on. All right. Wizard, what do you do?
Hi Rims, my name is Lena Juhlin, here to bring you this week's weather. For our current conditions, it is 50 degrees outside. Sunset was at 5:49 p.m. with 25% humidity and 8-mile-per-hour winds. This week we've had some beautiful weather with clear skies and warmer temperatures, so consider getting out and enjoying it while it lasts. Whether it's visiting the local hiking trails around Fort Collins, seeing the vibrant downtown, or anything else Fort Collins has to offer. However, this warm weather isn't necessarily good for everyone. Those living in areas like Denver could experience some hail with these warmer temperatures and the current conditions. Looking at our overnight lows, along the I-25 corridor, you can expect temperatures in those 30s with Pueblo at 25. For the Eastern Plains, the temperatures will be a bit cooler. Sterling at 26, Lyman at 24, Lamar at 23, and Burlington at 32. For the Western Slopes, it will be cooler. Craig will be at 13 and Gunnison will be at 14. However, those other cities will be right around the 20s. For tomorrow's forecast, you can expect more sunshine. The high will be 66 with a low of 27. Sunset will be at 5:51 p.m. with 23% humidity and 8-mile-per-hour winds. For the 5-day forecast, you can expect more of this warm weather up until Tuesday. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, you can expect some partly cloudy skies with those temperatures in the between 50s and 60s. For Tuesday, you can expect some rain or snow, depending on what time of day you see it. And then Wednesday, you can expect some of that warmer temperature to come back and some of those partly cloudy skies. That's all we have for weather. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Lena.
Over 1,000 national park employees have lost their jobs due to the Trump administration's mass layoffs. This occurred on February 14th and has affected national parks around the country. These layoffs majorly affect the national parks as they were already struggling with being short-staffed, so cutting down the amount of staff could be dangerous for these parks. The Trump administration disagrees with this, as Anna Kelly, a spokesperson for the White House, stated that this administration will protect America's abundant natural resources while streamlining federal agencies to better serve the American people. This bill doesn't just target national park workers, but all federal workers that are on their probationary period. People under the probationary period include anyone who was hired or promoted within the last 1 to 2 years. These terminations coincide with Trump's larger plan to downsize the federal workforce in order to eliminate waste and save taxpayers' money. However, the many employees that have been fired are not happy with this decision and aren't going silently. All over the country, ex-national park employees have been protesting against these firings. One of the most notable acts of protest was carried out by laid-off park rangers at Yosemite, where they hung an American flag upside down on the top of El Capitan, the most notable mountain in the parks. This action was made to call to attention the distress that the national parks are facing due to these layoffs. The large parks such as Rocky Mountain National Park and Yosemite aren't the only parks being affected by these layoffs in Colorado. In Colorado, fluorescent fossil beds National Monument was forced to be closed down some days out of the week due to the lack of employees. It is clear that parks and monuments around the country are being impacted, but how are these layoffs affecting people on a more local scale?
The layoffs at national parks across the country have affected thousands of people and caused many to scramble to figure out which direction to go. Even those who still have their jobs at national parks are anxious about keeping it and decline to speak with media. A senior at Colorado State University shares how these mass layoffs have impacted her job search.
I worked for the Park Service last summer, and it was my intent to graduate and work for the Park Service again this summer. Things are just really up in the air, and that's caused a lot of anxiety about my housing situation, what I'm going to do after I graduate, and I'm having to find other options that are just a more reliable line of work.
Needham also mentions the problems that could arise when trying to hire for new seasonal positions.
If people were unjustly fired in upper positions, there's nobody left in parks to actually interview and hire new seasonal positions that are going to be coming in too. So there's this kind of vacuum of power, I think, that's happening, where even if seasonal hiring is able to resume, like there's still at some parks probably a shortage of people to train and interview and fill those positions as well.
Information about hiring and the parks is constantly changing, so those with and without their jobs at national parks are uncertain of what their future holds.
After the termination of over 1,000 employees, the Trump administration has announced that they will be hiring a maximum amount of 7,700 seasonal positions for this summer. This is higher than the normal amount of seasonal employees hired for the summer season, but with the amount of layoffs that have occurred, park rangers are still nervous about how the parks will be affected. According to a fact sheet from Senator Patty Murray, the Department of the Interior laid off 2,300 national park employees, which may cause for amenities such as bathrooms, campgrounds, and trails not to be properly maintained, or could force them to close. With a lower amount of park rangers, it is important for park goers to be proactive and be prepared when going to national parks this summer. Now, back to you guys.
So it seems like there's going to be a lot of changes happening to our parks. Personally, I do like hiking. Do you do any activities?
I do. I enjoy hiking as well. Fun fact, I've lived in Fort Collins here for a few months now, and I've never been to Horsetooth.
Really?
Yeah, never been. So I'm going to have to make that a trip this summer. But other than that, you know, sometimes I play some sports outside, spike ball, basketball.
Really? Basketball?
Yeah, including basketball. You may not know it, but every Wednesday, the CSU Special Olympics basketball team prepares to hit the court. These athletes not only are showcasing their skills, but also proving the power of inclusion and teamwork. This week, I took a closer look at the team and how they have created lasting skills, friendships, and memories.
A lot of these athletes may not, especially after high school, since they're around 20s, 30s, they're not in school anymore, so they depend on jobs or things like this, so we give them an opportunity to socialize and get active.
For these players, it's not just about the sport of basketball, but instead breaking barriers and bringing people together.
I think some challenges they may face, like physical ones, maybe harder to get in the gym, maybe making friends, people look at them differently, some things like speech, how they walk, so things like that. Maybe people that aren't familiar with people with special needs may be afraid to talk to them.
ASCSU Special Olympics basketball team is giving students of all abilities a chance to shine bright on and off the court.
Oh yeah, fans, footing, great.
I would say the biggest achievement that we've done is we go on a lot of regional and state tournaments, and we get to see how excited these athletes get for getting a ribbon after, and we're together the whole day, and it's a lot of fun.
These athletes have shown incredible determination and skill, all while having incredible team spirit. If you want to sit in on one of the games or even play with the athletes, email socollegecsu@gmail.com. We wish them the best of luck in their upcoming tournaments and future endeavors.
Last Tuesday, Laramie County Natural Resources posted several photos of a rare silver fox near Horsetooth Reservoir. Senior Ranger Lane Fahrenbirch was able to capture these photos of the fox before it ran away. Though the fox is not red, it is a genetic variation that gives the silver fox their distinct color. The variation can also be red foxes. Variation can also make red foxes black or cross, although silver is much rarer than the others. So, what do you think about that? I mean, Horsetooth, are you finally going to go see it now that there's silver foxes there?
I could. It's a little bit more incentivizing, I guess.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, now we're going to head over to Gabrielle Hibbets, who is talking with some people at the Feminist Open Mic.
Hi Rams, I'm Gabrielle Hibbets, and I'm with Arbor Coffee, and today we are going to be talking about the CSU Feminist Open Mic Night. And who am I here with today?
Hi, my name is Valkis. I'm a peer educator here at the Safe Center, which is a center here at CSU, and we are here at Feminist Open Mic Night.
Awesome. Can you tell me a little bit about this event, what the purposes of it, and things like that?
Yeah, so the purpose of Feminist Open Mic Night was really to just create a space for people to share their art, such as poetry or spoken word or, like music even, and basically just create a space for them to share it, whether that has to do with feminism or not, because we have an event in April for Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and it's basically a place, and the event is like a really high stakes event for people to perform, so we thought it would be really cool to have like a casual event for people to share their all their art and stuff.
Awesome. And how do you hope this event and future events hosted by your organization will shape the CSU community?
Really, it's just about creating community with each other. I think especially right now, there's a lot of discourse around coming together as a community and making sure we all have safe places to share our thoughts and be dependent on each other.
Awesome. And do you have any more events like this planned for the future? And if so, what do they look like?
Yeah, so we actually are trying to do multiple Feminist Open Mic Nights throughout the semester, and next month is actually Women's History Month, so watch out for events through our center, and we'll probably have a Feminist Open Mic Night then too.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for talking to me. I'm Gabrielle Hibbets with CTV Channel 11. Back to you guys.
It's so nice to reminisce on the most wholesome moments of Ramboozled. Welcome back to the season where we put the best of the best against each other to see who knows the most about a wide variety of trivia-based categories. We have so many fun plans to make this season of Ramboozled the best yet.
If you can't get enough of the humor, thrill, ridiculousness, and me that you just witnessed on screen, tune into CTV Channel 11 on Wednesdays at 7 p.m.
Hi Rams, welcome back to another week of Thursday Night News. Tonight we'll talk all things women's basketball and take a look at Mountain West standings as we get closer to the championship tournament. I'm Payton Barill and this is the Green and Gold Rush. On Saturday afternoon, the women's team took on the Lady Rebels at Moby Arena. As the top-ranked teams, it was clear why these two are leading the Mountain West Conference. Ending in a 3-point difference, UNLV held on to their winning streak and beat the Rams 69-65. After a low-scoring first period for the Rams, the girls went into their second quarter needing to dig their way out of a 13-0 UNLV run. Finally breaking the rut was Chloe Frobe with a drive down center court, forcing a shot. Leading scorer for the game, Hannah Simmental, scored 19 total points, going 4 for 8 in three-point shots and 3 for 3 in free throws. Emma Ronsnick and Marta Lamina also put up double digits and helped force 9 turnovers. This was much needed in pressing McKenna Brackens and Alyssa Brown, 2 of UNLV's strongest players. In the fourth quarter of the game, the Rams were looking for yet another turnover, but with only 8 seconds on the clock, time ran out, securing the Rebels as the number 1 seed. But that's not all. Just last night, the Rams played the Nevada Wolfpack and earning another win as their 21st of the season. Ending the game at 61-45, Frobe led the game in points. She went 7 for 7 from the field and earned herself a new personal best, scoring 22 total points. While the freshman is not a consistent starter, she is a consistent asset. Frobe plays aggressive defense, but really is powerful on offense. Earning offensive rebounds and driving points off those rebounds is becoming a signature move for Frobe. Ending the game with a comfortable 16-point lead, the Rams will get ready to saddle up for their game against the Wyoming Cowgirls this Saturday. With the home team advantage, the Rams will try to hold on to their number 2 rank in the conference as regular season games wrap up and the Mountain West Championship Tournament begins. That's all for your Green and Gold Rush, but stay tuned for our feature report from Robert Sides on the World Unity Fair that happened this week.
Yo, Scott.
Hey.
I'm heading out, man. You want to ride?
No, I got my car, but I actually really need to go to the bathroom.
You know what? I was just in there. The line is like 10 people long.
You know, I think I'll just...
Dude, are you okay?
You wouldn't believe what I was just thinking. I am definitely buzzed.
Yeah.
I think I will take this and I will take that ride home.
Smart man.
Did you see how that dog was looking at me?
The World Unity Fair draws in hundreds of visitors from across the world and back. Though exposure to different ideas is a norm for many, there is still a world more, ripe with the riches of the human experience.
The Laurie Student Center Grand Ballroom is made up of only a few hundred square feet of space, but Saturday it fit a literal world of culture. The Office of International Programs held the 69th Annual World Unity Fair, where we explored cultures from all over.
They had like cool clothing and cool food. There was so many different cultures in one place.
At the fair, several facets of world culture were available to present unique world cultures. Emphasis was placed on the clothing of different cultures, as well as the traditional foods of any given country.
We're serving some Kindet Glühwein, which is just this non-alcoholic spiced wine. Very warming, filling drink.
Different facets of heritage give a face to every culture. They may expose people to parts of the world that otherwise may not be given a second thought.
Korea is really small, so even though there are like a lot of K-pop or K-food are getting more popular, but still so many people doesn't know where there is the Korean even. Good opportunity to people to that there is a really cool country named as South Korea.
The aura of the fair encourages people to not only pay attention to the diversity among the world's cultures, but to evolve from being a listener to becoming an active participant in their learning.
Ask people about their culture if they want to share it, if they're from a club or something. People are usually way more excited to show other people the things that they're passionate about than people think. Ask questions, ask what's going on. There's always something to get involved with.
Above all else, the World Unity Fair accomplished what it set out to do. Take only a couple hundred square feet of space and bring upon it a literal world of culture. One that inspires us to be the best versions of ourselves. Robert Sides, CTV.
4 hours of cultural exchange proves that everyone, from no matter where, has their own story to share. Now back to Brandon and Maddie on the desk.
That is going to bring us to the end of the broadcast for the night.
We'll be back next Thursday to bring you all of the Fort Collins news. See you next time.